Hey, brothers and sisters, Matt Hatton here. Two more heroes. The second to last hero I'm doing a review for on the Knights of Avalon family is Morgan Le Fay. So, this hero, she was actually the first hero that I pulled out of the portal, and I wasn't that excited about her, but she is quickly becoming what I'm going to say is the most interesting hero, or she's tied for second. But she's a really cool hero. So let's jump into Morgan Le Fay, and I'll go over what I think makes her so incredible, and talk about what I see as very big upsides if I can fully ascend her and emblem her up. So Morgan Le Fay, again, is part of the Knights of Avalon family. She's the enchantress of the family. She's a nature sorcerer, and she's a 5-star legendary, so you can take her all the way up to 480. Her stats when fully ascended are going to be 716 attack, 721 defense, and 1343 health. So that's a pretty nice looking attack stat, and her defense and her health is pretty good as well. And that's really going to help her out, and you're going to see why. So her special is called Devourer of Vitality, and she's running at fast mana speed, which again I think is just incredible. She is draining 672 HP from the target over 4 turns, and this effect can't be dispelled, but gets removed if the caster dies. So when I first saw this, I was like, she's, draining HP, but she's not really doing any burst attacks, so she wouldn't make, a great wing per se. But I've completely changed my perspective on Morgan. She's doing 672 HP over 4 turns, which essentially is an attack, plus she's healing herself because she's pulling that damage or that health that she's stealing from the enemy back to her as healing. So that's kind of a double hit for that special. And then she's also getting plus 94% defense against fire for 4 turns. So essentially, if you're bringing her in against a team with a bunch of fire attackers, she's able to not only provide a undispellable drain on health of each of the targets that she's hitting, running at fast mana speed, but she's essentially at 94% defense. She's canceling out any fire attacks. So any fire that's coming at her is going to have, pretty much zero effect as far as any damage against her. So really, again, just incredible. She's very tanky as far as a wing. That's where I'm gonna suggest running her, and I'll tell you why. But the fact that she's running it fast, I don't know. This is a really incredible collection of special abilities. If you do fully ascend her to 370, it's going to cost you 1 compass, 1 fine gloves, and 4 sturdy shields. And then to take her to 480, it's going to cost you 1 Damascus blade, 1 tome of tactics, 4 more sturdy shields, and 6 mysterious tonics. And then, of course, in addition to any food that it's going to take to level her up, to fully ascend her, it's going to require an additional 1.15 million food. So as a sorcerer, if you do want to fully ascend or emblem her all the way up to 20, it's going to cost you 1,500 sorcerer emblems. Her attack stat when fully emblemed is going to be 812. Her defense is going to increase to 757, and her health is going to increase to 1563, which is really, really high. If you take the shield path, her attack is going to increase to 746. Her defense is going to increase to 868. And her health is going to increase to 1455. So the way that she's built, because she's not really, her attack isn't based on an attack stat per se. It's based on stealing a set amount of health. You really don't have to worry about her attack stat too much. That would obviously help you with tile damage or any normal attacks. But what you really want to emblem into is her defense stat and her health stat, to make her even more tanky than she is, when she's fully ascended. So as a sorcerer, her ability is going to be delay, which if you take her all the way up to 20, that's giving her an 18% chance to drop the mana generation by 50% for 2 turns after any normal damage against a target. So that's, just a bonus on top of what's already, in my opinion, looking to be a really great hero. So again, follow the shields down the board. You really want to focus on shields or health. Just ignore the swords. You don't really need attack because that's not really how this hero is designed. So as far as the troops, obviously the mana troops are going to be the way to go with her. Just keep in mind, without the mana gen increase, she's going to require 8 nature tiles to charge because she's running it fast already. And then if you ghost 4 tiles, then she's going to fully charge her special. So she's going to be charging up her special pretty quick. It's not so much a matter of firing her off, her special off, which you're going to want to do. But, it's going to be more trying to keep her alive with the other heroes. But, she's going to have a very fast fire rate as far as her special just out of the gate. So until you get the mana troops leveled up, this is going to be the, what I say on a lot of other heroes is you can feel comfortable with her fast mana charge to run those critical troops. Not so much for anything with the attack value, but again, you're increasing your defense and your health. So the more tanky and more survivability you can give her, the better that it's going to work out for you. Again, with the mana troops, because she's already running it fast, you're going to need mana troops at level 29 to make a difference. So, for all intents purposes, just you don't really even need the mana troops, I don't think, in my opinion, with her. She is a hero where maybe you could put the nature mana troops on another hero that needs that increase. But by the time you get the mana troops to level 29, I mean, that's going to take you a while. That's not even end game. That's end game. There's very few people out there that have troops that are 29 or 30. I mean, that's just, I see a lot of people with those troops, and it blows my mind that they're even able to level up the troops that high. So again, critical troops is probably the way to go with her. Again, not for the attack. You're just really trying to make her tanky. So as far as the Knights of Avalon family bonus, if you have 2, 3, 4, or 5 of these heroes, it is going to increase the critical chance of plus 5, 10, 15, or 20%. And then it's also going to increase your healing by 4, 6, 9, or 13%. So as far as the family bonus build, I would definitely have Lady of the Lake out front as the tank. You're going to want to, or the Lady of the Lake is going to be able to provide those minions that are going to be essentially taking down the ability for any mana generation to be happening on the enemy team. As I mentioned in the previous video about Lady of the Lake, I would run Black Knight or some type of taunt tank or taunt hero if you have that, just to take some attention away from Lady of the Lake until she can start firing off. And then I would recommend putting Sir Lancelot as the flank, just because he's going to provide some nice mana gen, not only for Lady of the Lake, but any of the Wing 2 that you decide to do. And then Morgan Le Fay will be sitting comfortably in Wing 1, so hopefully if your flank that is able to protect your tank, then this would be a pretty stout team as far as a Knights of Avalon family team. It's going to be very defensive, and your attacks are going to be over time are going to be pretty incredible, especially with Morgan. If you can get her firing off on multiple targets without them being able to dispel that damage, it's just going to tick away their health, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. So I'm going to say that Morgan is part of what I'm calling the health drain meta. Now, when I was looking at this, she's actually in a league of her own. I thought about mentioning some of the heroes that when they do attack, they kind of heal themselves. But, I didn't want to kind of bring them into the mix. I really just want to focus on what she's doing, because it is a very special set of abilities that she has. So over 4 turns, you can just assume that she's doing 168 ticks of damage or removing health off of the target. And she's also healing herself for 168 ticks per turn. So, keep in mind that with her running at fast mana speed, if you are able to keep her alive, she is able to put this non-dispellable effect on multiple targets. So over a longer battle, essentially you could have 168 HP coming back to her times 5. And then you could be putting out, 168 damage on each of those targets. So total times 5. So this would stack up and become a pretty big problem for an enemy team if you're able to get her to fire off multiple times. So one thing I'll mention with her is I was really looking at a lot of other heroes as I started to become more familiar with what was going on with her. An interesting partner as far as a wing would maybe be Avalon, because Avalon also has a healing bonus that she does through her element link that's non-dispellable as well. So, and Avalon puts out some pretty reasonable damage as a sniper or a wing. So I think this would be a dynamic duo as far as having both of these on the wings, both these heroes on the wings. You'd essentially have 2 levels of non-dispellable healing that was going on. And again, remember, your primary focus is to keep Morgan Le Fay healthy, because the longer she's on that battlefield, the enemy team is just going to kind of lose the ability to do anything or heal themselves with you, because they can't dispel that tick damage that's going on, and anything that, again, Morgan is pumping out, she's just taking all those hit points back and adding them to herself as healing. So the best position, again, for her, in my opinion, is definitely going to be wing. You could look at running her as a flank if you don't have some type of hero setup that can protect her as wing very well. If that is the case, just tuck her in behind a very strong tank and hopefully protect her that way. But if you do have a hero that's able to taunt, maybe like a Krampus, or Black Knight, just run them as a flank, and then have a tank out front. And anything you can do basically to keep the attention off of Morgan Le Fay, it's just going to really put her in a position to be devastating to the enemy team. So because of how she's built, I mean, she would be a hero that you would use against Ice Titans because she's nature. But I don't think that, as strong as her abilities are against normal teams and like maybe a raid or a war, it's not going to be that effective against a Titan. Time is not on your side with Titans because the clock's always ticking. So Morgan is really more of a hero that gets more powerful as time goes on. So really not built well for a tank, just because she's essentially more of a long-term or long play player. So in wars, defense and raids, I'm going to give her an A. I put an asterisk by the defense because her effectiveness on defense is really kind of what we just talked about. It's really your ability to pair her with heroes that can keep as much attention off of her as possible. If you don't have that protection for her and she gets sniped out before her special starts going off, then she's not really going to do too much on a defense team. But if you have the right heroes to protect her, then definitely I would say that she can be an A on a defense team and be very devastating. In tournaments, I'm going to give her an A as well. I really love what she's doing, and I think she can be really effective. I don't know if I'd put her on your tournament defense team, but anything as far as the offense, I think that she's going to get an A in all 3 of the tournament styles. And then for events, I really love her as well. She's not the fastest play style, even though she's running at fast mana speed. But in the just with even or with the same thing as like raids or wars, in the events, if you can keep her healed up and have her special start going off and start attacking multiple targets with her health steal, she's could be pretty devastating and help you get through some pretty tough events. So overall, Morgan Le Fay is definitely getting an A. I really love this hero, and I have a couple other heroes in front of her to level up, but as soon as I have the materials, I am definitely leveling her up, and I plan to incorporate her in some war teams for sure. So if you like this video or any of the other content, feel free to like and subscribe. I definitely appreciate you tuning in this video. I've covered all the other Avalon heroes by this point. There's just one left, but by the time this video goes up, that hero will be included as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we definitely hope to see you on the next video. Take care, everybody.